TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom ve'erev tov, good evening. Welcome to our daily TV7 Israel News Bulletin, broadcast from Jerusalem. Israeli President Isaac Herzog believes the Iranian people will rise to oust the Ayatollah Regime in Iran. The terror regime in Iran is deliberately launching indiscriminate cluster munitions at population areas in Israel. And U.S. President Donald Trump warns Iran it could face the destruction of its energy sector if attacks against the Strait of Hormuz persist. The Islamic Republic of Iran and its proxy Hezbollah in Lebanon are attempting to step up their rocket fire towards Israeli territory, as well as directed at Arab countries throughout the region, launching indiscriminate ballistic missiles and rocket fire towards civilian neighborhoods, to include the use of cluster munitions, which under international law, primarily the Convention on Cluster Munitions, it is considered a war crime. These cluster munitions have been exclusively directed to civilian neighborhoods in central Israel primarily, where since the start of the war to date, 12 Israeli civilians have lost their lives and over 170 civilians sustained separate degrees of injuries from direct missile and rocket fire. Meanwhile, Israeli President Isaac Herzog visited a private residence of a family whose house was struck by cluster munitions. Thankfully, no injuries were reported since the family heeded the Homefront Command's instructions by entering their home's reinforced safe room.
This is the living room of a family where the cluster bomb fell straight into the living room, and you see the devastation. You know, this is what I call the weapon of the weak. The weapon of those who are just chickening out, those guys from Iran. They don't understand that what they're doing simply will bring more havoc on them. And I absolutely am adamantly believing that the people of Iran will wake up and rise up, because they deserve so much better. They deserve so much better than this ruthless, brutal regime, which has only taken all their resources to spread havoc, terror and hate and bloodshed all over the world. Well, that's over, and that's what we're fighting for.
According to IDF spokesman Brigadier General Degrading, Iran and its Lebanese proxy Hezbollah are making every effort to step up rocket and ballistic missile fire toward Israel because of the pressure under which the Ayatollah regime is finding itself.
In recent days, there have been attempts by Iran and Hezbollah to increase their fire on Israel. It is important to say that these attempts are a direct response to growing pressure against them over the past 2 weeks and to our achievements. We are working to disrupt these attempts and protect you, civilians. The Air Force is attacking from the skies of Iran and Lebanon, suppressing the fire, pursuing and damaging the launchers. At the same time, our air defense systems are intercepting launches, but the most important component of defense is your responsible behavior and obeying directives.
General Degrading continued by highlighting that while the IRGC's ballistic missile array is the greatest threat to Israel's home front, the Israeli Air Force, in close cooperation with the United States, have already degraded over 70% of the Iranian terror regime's launchers.
The ballistic missile array and launchers are the main threat to the Israeli home front. So far, we have attacked more than 700 targets of the missile array in real time. We have managed to reduce the firing. We have disabled more than 70% of the ballistic missile launchers. And all the drones launched from Iran into Israeli territory so far have been intercepted by the Air Force. We continue to hunt for the missiles and launchers continuously.
General Degrading further elaborated on efforts to degrade Iran's military infrastructure, which will prevent the Ayatollah regime from reinvigorating its ability to produce large quantities of munitions.
First, we hit the regime's military industries. These are the factories and sites used to manufacture ballistic missiles, unmanned aerial vehicles, and more. By the way, we found these types of weaponry also in Lebanon, Gaza, and Syria. Hitting the entire production chain allows us to delay and disrupt the regime's ability to rearm anew in the future. This damage will take them a long time to rehabilitate. So far, we have attacked more than 100 such production targets. Each target has dozens of different components, and we are destroying them all.
In addition to the defensive and offensive military capabilities of the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps being targeted, the IDF has also ramped up attacks against the Ayatollah regime's internal security apparatus, which is tasked with safeguarding the regime from plausible collapse.
We have also hit the regime's mechanisms of repression, the notorious Basij, internal security, and intelligence headquarters. So far, we have attacked more than 500 command and control targets. These are strikes that allow us to undermine the regime's ability to conduct its attacks.
Meanwhile, with regard to Lebanon, where the Iranian proxy Hezbollah has launched a second front against Israel on behalf of the Ayatollah regime in Iran, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz announced that the IDF has been instructed to launch a ground operation into Lebanon.
The IDF has begun a ground operation in Lebanon to remove threats and protect the residents of the Galilee and the north. Hundreds of thousands of Shiite residents of southern Lebanon who have evacuated and are evacuating from their homes in southern Lebanon and Beirut will not return to their homes south of the Litani area until the safety of the residents of the north is guaranteed. Naim Qassem, who brags and tells the IDF, come, is hiding underground and turning over 1 million Shiites from his community into refugees in their own country. Indeed, a worthy successor to his predecessor, and to his predecessor's predecessor, and to whoever comes after him.
Jerusalem's top defense official continued by highlighting a decision to degrade any infrastructure throughout southern Lebanon from which Hezbollah threatens Israel.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and I have instructed the IDF to act and destroy the terror infrastructure in the border villages near the border in Lebanon, to prevent threats and Hezbollah's return to the scene, just as it was done against Hamas in Gaza in the areas of Rafah, Beit Hanun, and extensive areas that were thwarted, and as is being done today against the terror tunnels in Gaza.
The Israeli defense minister concluded by leveling a direct threat to the leader of Hezbollah.
Hezbollah will pay heavy prices for its aggression and activity in the Iranian axis to destroy Israel. Those who want to destroy have been destroyed and will be destroyed. If Naim Qassem misses Nasrallah and Khamenei so much, he can soon be able to meet them in the depths of hell along with all those who have been thwarted in the axis of evil. We promised security to the residents of the north, and that is exactly what we will do.
Earlier, from an undisclosed bunker in Lebanon, Hezbollah Secretary General Naim Qassem, whose 3 predecessors were eliminated in September of 2024, sought to project toughness by ridiculing Israel's threat to eliminate him. Moreover, Qassem insisted that Hezbollah was ready to confront the IDF.
We have prepared ourselves for a long confrontation, and they will be surprised in the field. The enemy's threats do not frighten us, and the enemy will see our might.
Turning to the United States, where President Donald Trump asserted that the military campaign against the Ayatollah regime in Iran is progressing very well.
We had some very good results today, as you probably heard, in Iran. Very strong results, militarily results. We're talking to countries about policing the straits, because they are the ones, we don't get oil, very little, 1%, 2%. China, as an example, gets about 90% of its oil from the Hormuz Strait. And nice to have other countries police that with us. And we'll help, we'll work with them. Militarily, as far as I'm concerned, we've essentially defeated Iran. I guess they can have a little bit of fight back, but not much. Not much. We've taken out their air forces, you know, we've taken out their navy. We've taken out their air defense. There's no air defense whatsoever. We've taken out their leadership times 2 or 3. Might be 3. We'll find out soon. But militarily, it's been amazing. We attacked Karg Island, and we left just the one little area standing, and the standing part is where they have the pipes, all the oil pipes come in. And we can do that on 5 minutes notice. We have it all locked and loaded and ready to go if we want to do it. But we chose not to do it. I chose not to do it yet. We'll see what happens.
President Trump continued by emphasizing that while the terror regime in Iran was keen on negotiating a ceasefire, their suicidal refusal to come to terms with their inevitable defeat is clearly obscuring their own judgment.
They want to negotiate. They want to negotiate badly. I don't think they're ready. Just on what I'm hearing, they want to negotiate badly, as they should. But I don't think they're ready to do what they have to do. But I think they will be ready at some point.
Meanwhile, Commander of the U.S. Central Command, Admiral Bradford Cooper, expanded on the U.S. military strikes on Karg Island, through which over 90% of Iran's energy products transit on a regular basis.
This past Friday, U.S. forces executed a large-scale precision strike on Karg Island, destroying more than 90 Iranian military targets, including storage bunkers for naval mines and missiles and other military infrastructure. To date, our Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps aviators have collectively flown more than 6,000 combat flights, demonstrating the unmatched capability of America's joint force as we maintain air superiority over Iranian skies.
Admiral Cooper further highlighted significant progress which the American-led campaign against the Ayatollah regime in Iran is achieving.
We continue to remain centered on our military objectives. These are well-defined and include eliminating Iran's ballistic missiles, drones, and naval threats. It's one thing to defend by striking launchers and intercepting missiles and drones, but it's another thing to eliminate the wider manufacturing apparatus behind them. And we are doing that today. We've talked about it in concept. Here's what it looks like in reality. Let me show you, for the first time, a few examples of how we are dismantling Iran's defense industrial base, which will prevent threats to the region into the future. Here you see a photo from March 1st of a naval drone storage facility located near the Strait of Hormuz. This is the same location 8 days later, completely destroyed. Next, here's a photo taken of an attack drone production factory in Tehran on March 5th. Here's that same factory 6 days later after a devastating barrage of U.S. airstrikes. U.S. and partner strikes are doing exactly what they are intended to do, deliver on very clear military objectives to eliminate Iran's ability to project power against Americans and against its neighbors.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News, which is made possible to you by the generosity of our viewers. Please keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem and redemption of Israel. I'm Jonathan Essen wishing you a Shavua Tov, and God willing, until our next update, Shalom from Jerusalem.